Hello, Algebra 2 students. For Fry, you are looking at Chapter 2, Quiz 1, and I'm here to read and give you accommodations and some interventions along the way. So let's get started. For this first part, represent each relation using a graph on a coordinate plane, then list the domain and the range of the relationship. And I believe he said in class you don't need to graph these. You could just list the domain and the range. So remember the domain, I'll write it up here. The domain are going to be all the x values, and the range are going to be all the y values. Okay, so list your domain and range, all the x's, and then the range, list all the y's for this group of coordinates, and this group of coordinates, same thing. All the x values, name them as domain, and then list all the range, the y values for number 2. And then for 3 and 4, for exercises 3 and 4, y varies directly with x. So remember that direct variation is y equals k times x, and that k is that constant of variation. So you're going to figure out that constant variation by taking y divided by x. So in other words, this 9 divided by 3 here. So if when y is equal to 9, when x is 3, so 9 divided by 3, that gives you 3. So find x when y equals 15. So just take that 15 and divide that by 3 in order to figure out what x, because your constant would be 3. So you'd have 15 divided by 3. So figure that out. And this one, find if this is 2 and this is 8, so that would be 2 divided by 8, so that would be 1/4. So when find x when that y is 7. So y is going to be 7, and this is 1/4, or 0.25, however you want to do it. So just take that 7 divided by 0.25, or 7 divided by 1/4, and that would give you your x value for that one. So kind of took you step by step through that one. And then 5 and 6, write each equation in slope-intercept form, then find the slope and y-intercept of each line. So what you're going to do is you're going to change this. You want to get y on one side by itself, so all you're going to do is add 7x to both sides. You want to get it like this, where y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Okay, it's just that constant that's out there. It's going to be that 12, and then your slope is going to be the 7, but it's going to be positive because you're adding 7x to both sides. So it would be y equals 7x plus 12 there. So there's one for you right there. You're going to do this too. You're going to manipulate this so you get y on one side. So you have some algebra that you have to do in order to get y by itself, so that it looks like that y equals mx plus b again, okay? For the next two, hopefully you're pausing this as I go plowing through this, so pause as you need. Write an equation for each line. So you're given the slope, and then you got these points. So you're going to use slope or point slope form. So the slope, slope is m, so you already know the slope is 2. So you're going to put a 2 there. And then y minus your y, here's my x and y here for the point that it goes through. So I'm going to put a 4 here. I have my 2 here, and I have x minus the x1, which is this is my first x that I know, a point. So that's going to be a 1 here. And then just, work out the problem. So I'm going to start you out with this one, okay? It's going to be y minus 4 equals 2, and then I have x minus my 1, okay? So now you're just going to go ahead and, do your distributive property. So you have 2x and you have minus 2, and then you get rid of this minus 4, add 4 to both sides, and then you'll have your y equals mx plus b. Do the same thing for this one, okay? Plug in those points into that point slope form. and they already give you the slope here. All right, so here is error analysis. It says a student claims that the relation 0.3153855 is not a function because the y-coordinate 5 corresponds to more than one x-coordinate. Explain the student's error and justify your answer. So remember how to locate a function by looking at like a t-chart or or a list of coordinates. I did the t-chart for you. Explain what's wrong with that student's reasoning, because he said it's not a function. So it's wrong, so you know it is a function. So it is a function because why, okay? And then this one, Mr. Fry said that this would be extra. So if you're doing extra, let me read it for you. It says, describe the graph of the line y equals negative 3x plus 2 and use the words slope and y-intercept in your description and describe the shape, direction, and where it crosses the y-axis. So where it crosses the y-axis is the y-intercept. Remember, this is your y-intercept. And if you're going to use the word slope, you're going to call this the slope, because remember up here, I pointed that out to you. That's the slope, that's the y-intercept. So you could use that information to, get some points there. So hopefully this helps, and good luck on this test.